Hey guys, Serenity, Soul Invictus, and I'm back. And guess what? I have on the same outfit because it is the same day, and I'm doing another topic because I've got a bunch of topics piled up to talk about from over the weekend. I had a very long weekend. I am not really feeling this yellow thing that's going on right here. I'm not really liking it a lot. I just thought I would do some stuff. But let me know if you like, guys. I'm thinking about a little creativity, adding a little pop here and there. Today, I am talking about becoming and transforming yourself into the magical badass that you know you are. This topic has been overdue for a long time. And I thought that, today is the perfect day to talk about it because I am feeling fired up and I want to motivate you guys. I want to help you guys. I want to get this out there because I feel like a lot of us are stifling our powers and abilities, and it's time we let them shine. It's time that this light shines on all of our gifts. We stop hiding them. We stop being ashamed of who we are, and we stand firm in our truth, okay, in our sense of self. The only way to we hear people talk about knowledge of self all the time. The only way to really and truly understand and get to know yourself and to accept yourself is to learn daily to be more of yourself, to actually become more of yourself. People say, "Oh, I'm finding myself. I'm just going through some stuff where I'm like trying to find out who I am." You're actually, who yourself already knows who you are. It's just about you tapping into that and just understanding how you operate, understanding who you always were, tearing away all of the other limiting like beliefs and stuff that people have put over you and remembering who you are, not actually finding who you are, remembering and evolving to become more of who you truly ever were. All right. So thank you for joining me today. Hit like on this video because these things that we're going to discuss are very powerful, very important to our lives, to our transcending, okay? And you can share it. You can do whatever you want with this video. Leave comments, of course, positive and enlightening comments, of course, intelligent comments, of course. I love feedback and stuff. And also subscribe to my channel because we're going to be talking about a lot of metaphysical topics. We're going to be talking about life topics. We're going to be talking about love, money, success, prosperity, all of that kind of stuff we talk about on this channel. As above, so below is the name of it for a reason, because everything that we have been taught to believe, everything that we believe that is happening in this physical realm has a celestial counterpart or vice versa. So everything that has the celestial has a spirit of mind behind it. It's going to manifest in our realm, in the physical. So this can relate to any kind of topic that you can imagine because life is a magical process. It's a magical happening. It happens every single moment, whether we are aware of it or not, right down to the smallest of atoms to the largest and grandest of creations. It's life within there. So today we're going to talk about becoming a magical badass. What is a magical badass? Okay. The first thing I want to discuss is mentorship. This is something that a lot of us don't necessarily think about. We don't actually think, why would you need a teacher to teach you? Think that this is a solitary path you're on, that you can learn yourself. You can teach yourself. Like, we have all of the internet at our fingertips. We can just find information. Of course you can, but it would definitely be beneficial, most beneficial, if you can find a well-trained mentor. That could be a spirit guide, that could be a life coach, that could be some people's shaman or brujas, that could be a high priestess, it could be a lot of different, there are a lot of forms of teachers, okay, that are walking this planet, that walk this planet. And when the student is ready, like the saying says, the teacher appears. So if you're seeking that, definitely you will find. So it is definitely most beneficial for you to have someone to help guide you, like some type of spiritual counsel. Remember back in the old days, remember like the movies we watch and stuff like that. Let me just see if I can think of an example. Was it Troy? Troy. That was a perfect example where the king, he had spiritual guides. That was the council of spiritual guides that, that told him about forthcoming events, that predicted things, that was able to tap into spirit, maybe astrology, maybe all of these other things, that had knowledge and wisdom to guide him in leading his country to make the right and best decisions for himself and for his people. Okay, this was a common thing in the past. This was a very natural and practical thing in the past, because obviously we need people who are more skilled, who have more expertise than us in a certain area of our lives to teach us things. On the internet, I have discovered there are people like tybro.com, like I'm not sure his whole name, but I've been looking at his website and stuff and seeing you need people who definitely are reputable, who are respectable, who are, because you have to be dead careful of fake spiritualists. There are a lot of people out there calling themselves spiritualists, okay, or saying that they are spiritual. There was a meme I saw one time ago, and I still remember that from like 2 years ago. It's like, be careful when you come and tell me, like, you're spiritual. Yes, we're all spiritual. Demons are spiritual too. Okay? So what calls to you is what you seek out, all right? That's very important. What a spiritualist does, what a mentor and I guess guide, spiritual guide, the purpose of that is to actually take your mind out of your mind, so that you don't move from a place of ego then and feelings and emotion, to kind of get out of yourself so much, so that you see a situation or something with non-attachment. You're detached from the situation, and so it's like you're a bird perched upon a high tree looking down at the situation. You get to see a clearer picture because this person is not attached to the situation as you are. You know, they don't have all of these limiting beliefs and feelings like you do, or who memories and all of these kinds of stuff. The point is to take you outside of yourself so that you get a better understanding and view of what the situation is and how to move forward from that. That is the first step, I would say, definitely in becoming a magical badass. We need teachers, okay? That's what they're for. The next step to becoming a magical badass, you guys, is to let go of fear. Fear is that funky freaking word that I hate so much. Fear is the word that keeps us in bondage. Fear is something that, like they said, false evidence appearing real. All right? Fear is something that keeps you stagnant. Fear is something that actually diminishes your power and your magical ability. Fear diminishes anybody's ability to do anything almost. All right? So remember that you are a living, breathing, walking, talking representation of spirit. Okay? You are here in the image and likeness of spirit. You are the physical manifestation of spirit. Always remember that, because that's the way that no one is going to keep you in doubt. No one is going to keep you crippled, so to speak. You know that you have power. You know that you can alchemize a situation and come out on top, change the situation, change the dynamics of a situation for your highest good, and know that it's going to work. So with that alone, this one point and fact alone is what is going to help push you into becoming that magical badass that you already know that you are. You are the physical manifestation of God, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, on to more practical things. We have to remember that Fear is something that is usually taught. Fear is something that we aren't really necessarily born with. Fear is something that we are taught over the period of our lives, most of the time growing up. This is when we are most impressionable as children. So this is the time where people instill all kinds of thoughts into your mind, like all kinds of weird beliefs, like, wow, you're saying, okay, and especially if you grew up in a more religious home, oh, woe be unto you, because you're going to be filled with fear. Christianity is a religion that is based on faith. And the irony of it all, the most uncanny of it all, is that it's also based on fear. Faith and fear are the two opposites. Faith and fear don't go together. Faith and fear are like oil and water. So which side are you going to be on? The side of faith or the side of fear? And as a magical badass, we move on the side of faith. It is intention that makes things move. So faith and fear can't live in the same place. They don't live together. All right. So push that fear out and learn the way to do things that help you to become more courageous. Okay. Learn to face your fears. There was a book that I read, Feel Your Fear and Do It Anyway. This book came out. I was working at the time at an office supply company. So it must have been like at least 12, 15 perhaps years ago. But this book I still remember it up to this day because it's so powerful. You've got to face your fears. That's the only way you're going to overcome them. Like when we talk about fear, this simple as this whole internet things, live streaming and stuff like that. A lot of people would never do that because they're like, oh my God, like who's going to see me? I have a phrase that I say. It's like, to hell, F it. I'm going to do it anyway. Feel your fear and do it anyway. That's the only way you're going to start to overcome them. That's the only way you're going to start to really look back with a sense of accomplishment and say, wow, I did that. I actually did that. And that's going to boost your faith. That's going to boost your self-confidence. Okay. So I have some points on fear. That's what I'm talking about right now. But at the same time now, other things, I don't want the video to be very, very long, but these are very, very interesting topics, tips and tricks for growing in your ability, okay? And in your sense of self. The next tip I want to mention that's very important to becoming the magical badass that you know yourself as is to remember that you become what you are consistent with. You become that which you do, okay? You don't become what you say you want to become. You don't become what you just feel like, okay, I'm going to be this today. You become what you do on a daily basis. So remember to find the time or create the time. Use the resources that you already have to actually go within, to connect with that spirit within yourself, the spirit of the all that is within yourself. Take the time and practice to meditate daily. This is why it's called a practice. Okay? It's not something that you do once and forget about. It's a practice, it's a way of life, it's a path. So meditate on a daily basis. This is connecting you with spirit, with divine. This is taking you outside. This is taking you from outside of yourself to within yourself. Okay? This is what's going to help you tap into those things in the darkness. Okay? This is where light comes from, the darkness. So without you meditating, with you just having all of these external stimuli, like everything nipping at you, there's a fly flying across the room, there's music playing, there's a horn, there's a siren going on down the street, there's the kids, there's all of this stuff. How can you receive message from spirit with all of those distractions? There's no way. You must quiet and still the mind. This is very, very important. You need that time. Everyone does. You don't have to be an introvert to spend time with yourself. Everyone needs that time, in fact. And you will find that there are people who actually try to take away from that time. They try to take you away from these things because they don't want to see you grow. All right? You have to remove yourself. You have to be insistent with this on this time. You need this time. This is like air. Okay? Very important. That is what's going to help you to grow into that person that you are seeking to become. Okay? Because you are becoming it on a daily basis. You act as if you are that person on a daily basis. And more, the transformation is taking place subconsciously. And eventually, it's going to force itself to manifest in the conscious, in the external and conscious. The next tip for becoming a magical badass is not doing magic out of desperation. Oh, this is a good one. Can I say that again? Not doing magic out of desperation. Desperation never pays, you guys. Desperation never pays. Let me tell you all a little story. I just sold something. I sold a microwave, right? That we got it for a couple of, like maybe 2 months. And because of the fact that I don't like microwaves, because of the fact that like my son gets up and starts like heating up all kinds of food through the night when people are sleeping and stuff like that, I said, you know something? There's too many disadvantages to this thing. I'm going to just get rid of it. And at the same time, I was not trying to dump it because there was really no place to dump it nearby. And I'm not one of those people who does that, who litters like big appliances and stuff in people's yards. So I said, you know what? Perhaps I'm going to just sell it, which was very not wise of me at that time, because I said, if I don't want it, if I think it's unhealthy, why am I going to sell it to someone else? But hey, you can use the money, right? So I did. The response was like that quick. And finally, somebody bought it after maybe about 2 hours. And believe it or not, where I felt guilty about selling it, the desperation part of it is tying into this. Trust me, it's getting there. But I wanted the money at the same time. I wanted the money. The money wasn't even that like big of a deal at the time, but I really said I could use the money. Believe it or not, that person called back the next day and says, the thing isn't working. It's not powering on. It just went kaput. I'm like, no, you kidding me? Seriously? And I felt bad because it's like, I don't want people to believe that I'm that type of person. I would not be that. I would not do that to people. I would never do that to people. I don't want it done to me. And so I try to do things that I only want to happen to me, or would not mind, things that I can accept for myself. So here it is, talking back about this thing now. Here it is, we have to refund this person their money. And we didn't even pay for this microwave. We got it for free. That's the most hilarious part about it. But desperation, that's the point I'm getting to, doesn't pay off. It always bites you in the ass. The same is true of magic. You cannot go and try to just do a spell when you're feeling emotional, when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling hurt or betrayed. You cannot do it then. Or when someone has wronged you, you just want to do this spell on them then. First of all, let me tell you why. Because you will not have the knowledge and information that you need to properly perform this spell or ritual, first and foremost. Second of all, desperation does not pay. You're coming from a point of pure vulnerability and lack within your heart. You're feeling like something was missing and someone has taken something from you. You know, you're not feeling whole and complete. You're feeling the opposite. You know, you're feeling wronged and like a victim. Magic is not for victims, all right? This is for power. It's for people of power. It's for people who know themselves, all right? This is not a thing of victimhood here. So this is one of the biggest keys as well. All of these steps, these tips I'm giving you guys are very important. Okay, that's what this journey is all about. Doing the work, taking the time to understand how all of this plays in together. This is a lifestyle. This is a journey, a path, okay, for the rest of your life. This is nothing that you can just pick up and drop down whenever you're ready. Whenever someone hurts you, you run to your book of shadows. You're like, oh my gosh, I got something for them. It's not about that, yo. so, so that is very important to remember. And also that it takes time. So when you try to do it that once when you are emotional, and then tomorrow the person calls you and they're like, oh no, that wasn't me that did that. That was my best friend who hung up on you. She just was by me and just pressed the thing and a bag fell and the phone hung up. Now you feel completely different. You feel better. You're like, because I know she wouldn't have done that to me. Really? But now you just bind the girl or banish the girl or whatever the girl. And now today you don't feel the same way. What are you going to do? Take it back? It doesn't work like that. This is not a game. This is not a toy that you just pick up and drop. This is spirit we're talking about, okay? This is a higher energy dimension that we're dealing with. This is not something to be played with. Next up on this list is practicing rituals that help to align you more with spirit. This is going to start to, these are the things that are going to open your eyes more to what is truth, what is real, what is light, what is not, what is natural law, what is universal, what is, transcendental. All of these words, these are the things, the practices that I'm saying to implement into your days that are going to help you to reach that higher state in your consciousness and in your spirit. So these things include things like meditation, things like chakra balancing, things like divination, things like Tai Chi, just simple practices. Okay? Doesn't always have to be magical practices. These can be, most of the time, people refer to them as esoteric practices or alternative practices because it's something that many don't do. Is something that many think is like frivolous and doesn't really make a difference. It does, trust me. All right? So these are the things that are going to help align you and get your mind right. All right? When you look at just as simple as reading, studying to show yourself approved. Remember now, this is let's just say a quote from the Bible. I may not be wording it exactly right, but it falls along these lines where he says that, when you call on me, not knowing me or believing on me, what would he say? He will not know you. And this holds true for any other deity. It's the same, it works and operates the same way. You can't just call on it when now you're feeling desperate and the sky is falling and now here it is. You want to call on this or that or him or her or whatever. It doesn't work that way. You have to build a connection. You have to build a relationship and an understanding of that being that you're calling upon. So remember now, this holds true now for the same thing of the practices that I said and connecting with those higher beings, connecting with that higher level of consciousness. All right. It's a practice for a reason. So things such as sun gazing. Sun gazing is something that I've been doing from I was a teenager. I got a yoga book by Swami Vishnu Sivananda. I think I said his name right this time. But that book cost me so much money. That book cost me like 50 something dollars out of my allowance. And I probably was in 10th grade. But that had so much information of esoteric practices of more, yogic practices that I had to keep it. That book was one of the best buys that I have had, I think, yet. But sun gazing was something mentioned in that book. And I did that from I was a teenager. And now I'm starting to see more esoteric people talk about sun gazing. It's not just an Eastern practice, it's something that you should do. Because if you are like me, you want to tap into that source energy. You want to tap into that light. You know, this is Ra we're talking about, all right? So definitely you don't want to go blind. So there are times that are best for you to do things like that, such as early in the morning, like when the sun is just risen, or when the sun is just about to set, like they say an hour after it's just risen or an hour before it's about to set. It's the excellent optimal time for you to do stuff like that. This is going to help open your third eye. This is going to help you with more clairvoyance. It's going to help you with more connecting to spirit, okay, and understanding that energy. It's very important. So, other things that you can do, of course, are things like Tai Chi, things like studying Taoism. Taoism, some people it's referred to as pronounced as Taoism, starts with a T. Kabbalah, Feng Shui, all of these things I kind of incorporate into my life because to me, all roads lead to spirit. All of this leads to spirit, okay? Whether we like it or know it or not. So, all of these things, you will see a connection. You will start to see life start to connect. You will see synchronicity more because why? All of these things are related in different levels. So, now, those practices are not just limited to spiritual practices because I definitely am a person, an avid exerciser. I believe in fitness. I believe in all of that. So I believe that you need to incorporate physical exercise into your life. This is what's going to help you to strengthen your body, like I said, as above, so below, as within, so without. So when you start to strengthen without, you also strengthen within because this is going to help flow and release endorphins. This is going to help you to feel more optimistic about life. You feel stronger, you feel more powerful, you feel the chi, that proper chi. That is your life energy. That's their life force. Okay. Your metabolism is going to be better. Optimizing your metabolism, optimizing your blood circulation, optimizing all of these things. You get sharper, you get better. I noticed when I was running, I have not been running for a little bit, but it goes and comes when I'm busy. I kind of get a little tied up sometimes, but I start back. When I was running, though, at my peak of running, things were improving so much more for me. Like I'm talking about you're able to manifest like that. I'm talking about your sleep gets better. Talking about, you all of these things are go hand in hand with becoming a magical badass. You can't be a magical badass, manifesting like that if you're just feeling decrepit and you're like, oh Lord, my back. Oh, my back. You sound like a 90-year-old man. Like, no, you need to be vibrant. You need to be energetic. You need to be up and stay up and ready, okay, to face whatever life throws at you. This is what a magical badass is. So, exercise is very important. You want to be at your peak, not at your worst. So, other things now, here's I'm getting on to the midpoint of this thing, but we're almost there. These are the very important things. And so now, obviously, if you're doing these physical practices, you're putting in the mental and spiritual practices. Obviously, now what's next on this is important for you to remember and pay attention to what you are absorbing into yourself, what you are taking in. It's very important to understand you have to eat well. What you put in is what you get out. What you how you hydrate your body. What you put into your body is the only thing that you will be able to get out. You can't get apple juice out of an orange. You can't get, let's say vitamin C out of soda. So, in order for you to get proper nutrition, you need to feed yourself properly. Whole foods, closer to the earth. This is going to help connect you as well. This is People don't understand the correlation of mind, body, spirit. It all works together. It's supposed to work in harmony. So whatever you put into yourself, look at this. I just bought this inside off of a jasmine tree that we have in our yard, right? This is purely connected to the earth. You know, it's now detached from the earth, but at the same time, it's in its purest form. I'm not going to put it on a stove and cook it down till it's brown to try to eat this. I mean, no one eats jasmine, but I'm just using it as an example. You see, you want your food as close to the earth to be as close to its natural state as possible. So it's very important. All of these things work together to help you strengthen your magical abilities. And you're going to see so many other benefits taking place because of these things. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. You're going to act better. All right. So remember that. Then another thing that I want to talk about that's important for becoming stronger on this path is remembering that you need to cleanse yourself, your astral self, as well as your physical self. It needs to be cleansed. You need to be protected. You need to be cleaned. You need to be protected. You need to be grounded. Okay? This is like a cradle you're in. Okay? This is your temple you're in, and you cannot be attacked so easily if you are not open. You don't have a big open sign on your door like, come get me. This is why a lot of people refrain from certain things who are on this path. They don't wear a bunch of all types of colors and do all that kind of stuff because they feel like it's drawing too much attention to them. Some people refrain from even using a bunch of fragrances on their bodies and stuff because they feel like this is going to help to invite all kinds of other beings that's just, she smells good, let's follow her. No, you want to be as pure and natural as possible. But it's not to say that you don't want to wear colors, because I'm going to zhuzh it up. I'm going to spray myself up. I'm going to be sweet. All right. So that's very important. Cleanse and grounding. Practice these things. Start to implement some spiritual practices like spiritual baths. People do those usually on the new moon, during the new moon phase or full moon. Because this is the best time to release certain things. Spiritual baths for releasing, of course, and for the full moon time, it's time to start drawing things to yourself. This is where you want to start doing your love baths and things like that, things that are going to attract that positive energy to yourself instead of negative. You have already banished that negativity, but you want to do these things on a regular basis. It's not just a one-time thing. People pray. This is very important. Say prayers, say an affirmation. Even if you go in the mirror in the morning and strengthen up yourself, you actually are spending that time with yourself. I like to say Psalms. I like to say Psalms in Hebrew, and I'm starting to learn it a little bit better. It's very powerful. It's a powerful thing to do, and it gets your mind right. It keeps you in a place where you just have this knowing that you are unfuckwithable. Okay. Next up is, this is very important, investing in yourself. Investing in yourself, that's very important. You cannot neglect yourself and expect yourself to grow. You need to spend time, not just investing time with yourself, but investing financially in yourself. Find good books, invest in courses, invest in a class, invest in perhaps, like I said, a spiritual guide earlier in this topic, in this video. Invest in yourself, okay? This is what's going to help you to grow. You're trying to see this through. You're trying to live up to your potential. So in order for you to do that, you must be able to spend quality time and put in the work, put in the effort into seeing yourself become that which you know you already are. You need to work towards. The next tip is to not become a paranoid spiritualist or a paranoid magician. Oh boy, I could go on forever about this because I know them firsthand. I know them when I see them. All right. There are people who they go from priestess to priestess, from guide to guide, from spiritualist to spiritualist, to alchemist to alchemist. They go from here, there, and every which way looking for someone to fix their problem, to fix their life, to fix their situation, to get their boyfriend back, to do all these kinds of things. Then at the end of the day, what did they become? A paranoid spiritualist, a paranoid witch, a paranoid person in general. Because why? They've opened up themselves to so many people that now there are conflicting energies going on in their life and they're feeling like shit is out of control. So now they're like, oh, she did that to me. She did that to me. That one must have did this to me. Because this wasn't like this before. So now they think that everyone who practices on this path is out to hurt them, is out to get them, has put something on them. Don't be that. Don't be that person, yeah? Because remember now, like I said, we're operating on faith, not fear. And the paranoid spiritualist or the paranoid magician is that person who operates from a place of fear. I ain't never scared, okay? Everyone has a healthy level of fear from time to time, but you got to control that. It's up to us to control that. A lot of the times, the things that we fear aren't even real. We make them up in our own minds. You know, we hear people say all kinds of things and we're like, oh. Some people have learned the way to get over this is to just stop thinking about it. Let it go. Because what you pay attention to and you focus your time on is what is going to increasingly manifest in your life. So if you believe someone is putting something on you, then you're actually doing it to yourself, because even if they have, it has no power if you don't believe it. Some people just cannot be cursed. I truly believe that. If you know you walk, talk, speak, preach, am God, I am that I am, you can't curse God. It's impossible. So remember that. Don't be one of those people. The next tip that I have on this list is, is avoiding lower vibrational energies. Avoiding people who are going to bring that down in you, who are going to make you feel less than God, woman, man. Avoid those types of people, okay? They have a purpose to serve, but that purpose belongs nowhere in your life. Stay away from those types of people, okay? Your potential, know thyself. So when you know yourself, you know you don't need to be around certain types of energies. You just aren't into that, you know? You're going to tell them, push out, push out. I don't have time for it. That's what I'm saying. Avoid these types of people, because this could be people or situations, as a matter of fact. This is why I realized that a lot of people who are on this solitary path are kind of, well, solitary, because you don't have time to be entertaining all these funky spirits and thing of people who coming up in your space and trying to manipulate you, or who try to persuade you down another road, or who try to control you. You don't have time for that, to bring the drama and the noise. You don't have time for that, you know? You don't have energy for that. You're not allowing that. So this is why many of us choose to be more introverted. You know, we're not recluses. We have very healthy social lives, but we choose to not be mixed up in that kind of bullshit, because ain't nobody got time for that. We don't want that in our life. We have a choice. This is a choice, you know? So pay attention. Next is the next tip I want to say, to cycles. Pay attention to the lunar cycles. Pay attention to seasonal cycles. Pay attention to all of these things, because remember now, you know, this is nature. We're working with nature. We work according to nature. We don't work according to our own will. We have free will, of course, that works in tandem with nature. But it's not just us that creates things, that allows things to be created, you know? So you have to pay attention to what's going on within the nature, within natural events, okay? Synchronicities and signs. Pay attention to those things. If you see when the eclipse happened, that big eclipse happened last year, I believe it was in August that it took place. All kinds of things were going on. It was like a mad time. All kinds of storms, all kinds of like blizzards and like bushfires and stuff. Like it was a lot of crazy stuff going on. Flooding, different things were taking place. It was like it was wreaking havoc. It's important to pay attention to these types of things so that you know how you can move through them, how you can navigate better throughout this whole maze that we're in. The next tip is to trust the process. The process is, like I said, nature. We move from faith, not from fear. So know that everything that is taking place is happening for your highest good and it's going to manifest for your highest good. You know, we go through light and darkness, good and bad. But at the same time, how do we come out of it? Do we come out stronger or we come out worse off? I would bet you say stronger, because that is the mentality of a magical badass. You come out stronger at the end of whatever you may have gone through. We all practice magic, believe it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not. We all do some types of magic, you know? We manifest things without even knowing how. Some people would like to argue with this, but this is where it gets tricky. I don't like to argue about stuff like that. You go home and you think about how you've manifested the life that you have now. What choices have you made that have brought you to this place right now in the present moment? Everything is just the present, but at the same time, we are constantly manifesting, whether it's with our mouth, our minds. so consciousness is everything, and everything is consciousness. You will start to be careful what you say and do, what you even think, what you allow to entertain in your mind when you understand this concept, cause and effect, the law of mentalism, law of correspondence, law of polarity. All of these things are real, and we create according to them, whether we like it or not. So always remember to know your power and work with the forces of nature, not against them. So look at the companies that we see on a daily basis that we love so much, and you know, like Starbucks and McDonald's and the car companies, Toyota, all of these places that are so successful, so lucrative and prosperous. They are doing magic of their own, believe it or not. If you look at just the symbols of life, if you look around you and start noticing all the symbols, you will start to see that everyone's doing magic. Guys do magic on us every day with their mouth. Every day. They've got promises for the whole universe for you, okay? Do good. All right? This is something that you have to remember. Do good with your magic. This is what makes a powerful badass magician. Harm none. Do as he will. Okay? Next up, be patient. It cannot be rushed. This is a process. This is a journey. This is a lifestyle. This is not, like I said, something you just pick up today and drop tomorrow. Never compare yourself to anyone else, because you are not anyone else. You are yourself. You are, like I said, the living, breathing, walking, talking projection of spirit, all right, in the outer world. So never compare yourself to what this witch is doing, what that one is doing, you know? Never compare yourself to these people, because you have this journey to walk alone. That's what being solitary is all about. What works for her may not work for you. What works for you may not work for him. Never compare yourself. You know, you have people who do some pretty dark things, you know. They get angry and they try to use magic as a tool to inflict pain upon other people. Once you go against a person's free will, I think you have gone against one of the most important natural laws of life. So remember that. Keep your business to yourself. That's another tip that's very important for us to remember. It's nobody else's business. We like to share what we learn. I'm very guilty of this. I love to share what I learn. You know, I don't think knowledge is to be hoarded whatsoever. I think this is all about love and sharing because we're all one. I don't look at color of skin. I don't look at all of these kind of stuff. I want to appreciate who I am and my ancestry. Yes, definitely. But I don't look at it as a separation of me from everybody else. You know, at the same time, you cannot save everybody else. You have to save yourself, my dear. So that's what I do. And that's what I preach. That's what I teach. That's what I would say. Somebody asks you something, you tell them. I'm not a deep freezer. I'm an open book in some certain sense of the word, you know. But some things are not to be just said to anybody randomly. You'll know when it's the time to do it. The last bit of advice I want to say is to remember to have self-control. Have self-control. This is very important for us on this path. And this self-control even is tying into what I said about keeping your business to yourself. Control your tongue. This wagging thing in your mouth, control that. This gets you in a lot more trouble than even like a weapon could. This is a weapon, you see? Control that. Discipline is very important. Self-control is very important. I look at people who struggle with addiction, who struggle with certain things. They struggle because they don't understand the concept of self-control. They have no other distraction, they have no other hobbies, they have nothing else to do that takes their mind off of that thing that they desperately want so bad. Control yourself. This is going to help you with everything that I've said before on this list, all of these tips and tricks. Self-control is paramount to all of these things because it's going to help you to stay in that rhythm. It's going to help you to continuously operate from that standpoint. Self-control is going to help you to continue on your learning path. It's going to help you to continuously practice the things that are going to keep you growing and nourishing the magical badass that you are. Last but not least, I have this pen in my hand to remind myself, keep a journal. Keep a journal. Journal your experiences. And you will start to see that things are working better than you even thought they were. This is going to boost your confidence in yourself. This is what is needed to boost your magical abilities. Confidence. Just knowing that it's going to work. It's very important to do this. Journal your experiences, journal when you do rituals, journal just some thoughts sometimes that just enter your mind out of seemingly nowhere. Write those down. This is when spirit you're getting messages from another realm. With that being said, I'm going to end it here because I think I have touched on everything basically that I had planned to touch on until I may come back with a part 2 of this because we learn something new every day. I am someone who is so excited about learning. And this is why I come to you with these types of topics because we are here in this sharing these things together, and like minds are who's going to come and find it. The seeker, the teacher appears. The seeker, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I'm not saying that I'm no guru or nothing like that, but we are learning in this journey together. And Some people are not at the level, some people may not actually even have reached the level where we are at, where we even may be knowledgeable. Are far from knowing everything. No human on this earth knows everything, and definitely knows everything about everything. No matter what particular avenue or field or topic or subject or, you're talking about, there's no human that knows everything about that particular subject. So we are all students, finding teachers through seeking. And I love it. So, guys, hit like if you like this topic, if this resonates with you, if you're feeling me. Let me know what your practices are that you do on a daily basis, or what other tips you may have to becoming a more magical badass, to living your truth and walking with your head high on this path. Subscribe to my channel, guys, if you haven't done so already. If you have and are a new subscriber, I want to say thank you so much and big ups, touch hands to this, because you guys are awesome. And we're doing this out of love, a place of love and light. I also wanted to say something else. This is something that I have not mentioned. This piece right here, this is something that is inspired by well, I can't really say inspired by, but it's inspiring me, actually. It's a piece that I got as a gift from someone. And I love it so much. I never wore it. I thought it was just a little bit too much, but it's beautiful. And it's inspired me to actually create a piece similar to this with real crystals. But I want to talk about my Patreon account. If you feel so generous to do so, I would love for you guys to check that out. My Patreon, Serenity 25, I believe. Is that the name? Let me see. Yes, Serenity 25. The page is as above, so below, just like my YouTube channel is named. Check that out. And if you are so inclined to do so, you can like set up a way that you can donate to my channel, because I definitely am trying to seek ways of improving my channel, actually improving my business, my jewelry design. And of course, everything is costly. Things are not free these days. And if they are free, a lot of the times we don't really care for free things, because we know they come with another cost, a hidden cost that we often don't really want to pay. Okay, so check me out, guys, on those areas, on those other platforms. And if you feel so inclined to do so, you may leave me a small donation. It could be $1, it could be $10, whatever you are able to do would be definitely appreciated, because I am moving towards growing my channel, and we want to see these types of videos reach at least like 1,000 views. I want to see this thing grow. I want to see my subscription grow. By the time of summer, I have a complete vision of what I would like to see my channel as. And you guys, I know that you can help me. We can do it together. And when I am so inclined to do so, I support other YouTubers myself. And so I understand totally how this thing works now. And that's why I've decided to start getting a little bit more activity going on there, so that we can do that and share in the love, the abundance, the wealth and health and joy and happiness with each other. So like I said, guys, hope you like this video. And until next time, I will be back with another great topic. Peace and love, guys. Until I return, blessed be and namaste. Bye.